one day somebody does something unspeakable to someone else, to someone you hardly knew, and you do something about it because you can.
From KPBS, we get this for Jonathan Christopher LaRoche, a detective with the Naval Criminal Investigation Service, or NCIS. No, this ain't a TV show. But he will face sentencing in federal court for several crimes relating to abuse of a prisoner in his custody. In July, the San Diego U.S. Attorney's Office announced that LaRoche pleaded guilty to charges relating to his alleged choking of a handcuffed prisoner in federal custody at a naval base in San Diego on November 14. Specifically, LaRoche pleaded guilty to filing a false statement and deprivation of rights under color of law. The U.S. Attorney's filing describes how LaRoche took the handcuffed prisoner and used his right arm to employ a carotid restraint that lasted 17 seconds until the prisoner, Chi-D, lost consciousness. LaRoche's misconduct as a Navy detective is disturbing to police accountability advocates. But they are even more disturbing to learn NCIS hired him in the first place, because from February 2013 to May of 2018, LaRoche was an officer with the El Cajon Police Department. On multiple occasions, LaRoche employed excessive force on prisoners in his custody, according to El Cajon PD records obtained by KPBS. The records showed that after a third internal affairs investigation into his conduct, LaRoche was quietly let go. Advocates say LaRoche became what is known as a wandering officer, what we call nomad officer, an officer who is allowed to leave an agency without a significant disciplinary action despite a history of misconduct. These officers can apply for new jobs without having to disclose their troubled past. They're gone before any employment consequences such as them being fired can happen, said Deepak Prekumar of the Public Policy Institute of California. He says, because of the lack of misconduct records, they're able to get rehired at other agencies. Advocates and experts say tracking the number of wandering officers has been next to impossible due to laws that protect the privacy of police personnel. In California, the Peace Officers' Bill of Rights has made it especially difficult for the public to gain access to police disciplinary records. Quote, in the absence of systematic data, we simply do not know how common wandering officers are or how much of a threat they pose, nor can we know whether and how to address the issue through policy reform, says Ben Grunwald, a professor of law at Duke University. He's done extensive research on wandering officers. Now, when LaRoche left El Cajon PD in 2018, his disciplinary history was hidden from public view. Quote, historically, California was an almost complete black hole of police transparency, said David Loy of the First Amendment Coalition. However, in recent years, state legislation has forced more transparency regarding officer conduct. It still doesn't work. Records relating to police shootings and use of force are now more likely to be made public. So, quote, whenever a police officer discharges their firearm at a person or uses force that results in death or great bodily injury, the public has a right to disclosure of those documents, said Loy. Now, documents obtained by KPBS under the new state laws show LaRoche was investigated by El Cajon Police Department's Internal Affairs Division in two separate 2017 cases. In one case, LaRoche dropped a handcuffed prisoner to the ground at a San Diego County jail and bounced his face off the concrete, according to the records. LaRoche had turned off his body-worn camera, according to the records, but video from inside the jail showed the prisoner posed no threat. The Internal Affairs investigation determined that LaRoche's actions showed improper use of force, improper use of the body-worn camera, and that he exhibited a lack of truthfulness, the records show. The other case involved LaRoche's treatment of a female prisoner at the Las Colinas jail. Witnesses saw him hold her down by the neck against the floor, and LaRoche claimed the prisoner tried to kick him, but the camera in the jail's intake area did not show any behavior on her part that warranted his actions, according to records. Yet he was investigated a third time, right? Because he was still a cop. Court filings in the federal government's case against LaRoche also reference a 2015 incident in which he allegedly used excessive force, but records in that case are not publicly available. Of course not. Reporting by the San Francisco Chronicle's Katie Roosh and UC Berkeley's investigative reporting program revealed many police agencies cut separation deals with troubled officers to limit the agency's exposure. One of those deals involved the El Cajon PD. While there were no details on which officer might be involved in the initial Chronicle story, Roosh provided KPBS with a document titled Separation Agreement and General Release of Claims. One section of the agreement was labeled Confidentiality and included the following language. City will place any and all documents related to the pending termination matter, including any and all reports, emails, and the settlement of this matter, in a sealed envelope stating on its front documents related to employment of Jonathan LaRoche, to be opened only to the extent required by law. This envelope and its contents will be maintained in the office of the city attorney. No documents related to the pending termination matter, including any and all related reports, emails, and the settlement of this matter, will be maintained in any of LaRoche's personnel files with the El Cajon Police Department or the city of El Cajon. Now, KPBS asked El Cajon City Attorney Morgan Foley about this confidential agreement with LaRoche. Foley said there is no policy, written or otherwise, where an employee has the option to resign in lieu of discipline. The separation agreement was signed by LaRoche, his attorney, and El Cajon City Manager Graham Mitchell. The section for Foley's signature is blank. The Navy hired LaRoche in 2022. There are no publicly available records showing the extent to which NCIS did a background check on LaRoche before he was hired. The U.S. Attorney says LaRoche lied when he claimed he left the El Cajon Police Department because he was hired by U.S. Department of Defense Police and didn't resign in lieu of termination. The federal government says he lied, knowing his work history information was false, fictitious, and fraudulent, according to the charging documents. And then it goes down and talks about NCIS being a civilian-run agency that employs law enforcement professionals from outside the Navy, so forth and so on. I'm not going to keep on reading this. It just drags on. But the thing is, here's this wandering cop that was investigated twice for, as far as I'm concerned, assault on handcuffed people. And he's still a cop to be investigated by Internal Affairs a third time. Like, does the El Cajon Police, what's going on in El Cajon? Maybe J.C. Playford was right when he said the El Cajon PD was dirty and corrupt. Maybe you've got something there, J.C. For those who don't know, you can Google J.C. Playford on YouTube. He's a pioneer in this, but I don't know what else is left to be said, except that if you want to beat people up and smash their face and get, stop that, man, Internal Affairs is watching you, become a cop. You can beat the hell out of people. You know, you can vent physically, feel good about yourself because you beat the hell out of a guy who was handcuffed. And what's going to happen to you? You're going to get fired. No, you'll go be a cop in some other city.